the doctor's job. Now, another one, the department shall implement any waiver granted by the Secretary of the Federal Department of Health and Human Services to permit the department to conduct a demonstration project to provide family planning as defined in Section 253.07 under medical assistance to any woman between the ages of 15 and 44 whose family income does not exceed 200% of the poverty line for a family the size of a woman's family. If the department promulgates a rule under subsection 2M, this paragraph, now this is the part that really gets me. This paragraph does not apply to the extent it conflicts with the rule. Section 127 of the statutes is amended to read. And so basically what that says is that the next one just says the same thing, but it says for a man. So basically you can get condoms and contraceptives, but not if Scott Walker issues a rule, as this bill would give him the authority to do. It says that they will allow family planning for Medicaid. However, if they issue a rule, one of those emergency rules we were talking about earlier, then there will be no family planning services for people on Medicaid. Now, this is a dangerous game for our children and overall society, and it is bordering dangerously close to taking away a woman's right to choose. The majority of unwanted children come from lower income classes. The people who cannot afford family planning are the ones who need it the most. I don't mention this to scare people, but this is reality. Do you really want to go back to the days of back alley clothes hanger abortions? That is what will happen if people on medical assistance are not allowed to get family planning waivers because they can't usually afford it themselves anyways. They can't afford the birth control. They can't afford any of those services. And so we'll go back to the days of back alley dumpster abortions with clothes hangers. Is that what we really want? Family planning waivers, as they are now, are necessary. People are going to have unprotected sex, and that's just a reality. Restricting family planning is not going to help this. It will only hurt overall society. Now, my ninth point. The authorized FTE positions for the Department of Children and Families are decreased by 1.0 PR position, funded from the appropriation under Section 20.437. Now, I'm not quite sure what a PR position is or any of these acronyms. However, they are decreasing the positions. That's the main point. B. The authorized FTE positions for the Department of Children and Families are decreased by 1.85 GPR positions, funded from appropriation under Section 2.437 of the statutes for the purpose for which the appropriation is made. The Secretary of Administration shall identify the position. The authorized FTE positions for the Department of Children and Families are decreased by 0.15 FED position, funded from the appropriation under Section 20.437 of the statutes for the purpose for which the appropriation is made. The Secretary of Administration shall identify these positions. The authorized FTE positions for the Department of Corrections are decreased by 3.0 GPR positions, funded from the appropriations under Section 20.410 of the statutes. The authorized FTE positions of the Department of Natural Resources are decreased by 1.0 SEG position. The authorized FTE positions for the Department of Natural Resources are decreased by 2.0 SEG positions of the statutes. Now this just shows where the cuts in employees are going to go. The Department of Children and Families, the Department of Corrections, and the Department of Natural Resources. I wonder where that money that's being paid to those people will go. Oh, now I know. It's going to go to one of the Koch brothers' power plants. Section 63, 20.866 of the statutes is amended to read, Building Commission refunding tax-supported and self-amortizing general obligation debt incurred before July 1st, 2011. From the Capital Improvement Fund, a sum sufficient to refund the whole or any part of unpaid indebtedness used to finance tax-supported or self-amortizing facilities. The state may contract public debt in an amount not to exceed $474 million for this purpose. Such indebtedness shall be construed to include any premium and interest payable with respect thereto. Debt incurred by this paragraph shall be incurred before July 1st, 2011, and shall be repaid under the appropriations, providing the retirement of public debt incurred for tax support and self-amortizing facilities in the proportion amounts to the purposes for which the debt was refinanced. Now, what that means is that we will need to take out a loan for $474 million to cover $309 million in debt. Didn't they say this bill was supposed to help our debt rather than pile on more? Why would that make any sense to take out a loan for $474 million to cover previous debt? Why wouldn't you just pay the debt as it is? Well, we all know that it was a lie, that this was actually a budget stabilization bill, and here's the proof. Now, I bet you anything that that loan would be taken out through M&I Bank, one of Scott Walker's other big contributors. Now, that was just a brief overview, and it was a brief overview of some of the parts of Senate Bill 11. And let me just re-go over everything for you again, just in general basic terms. Basically, they would be able to build any buildings and bypass municipal codes. Top of that, they'd create a legislative fiscal bureau that would have power over all state departments and could run any type of confidential research projects they want. They wouldn't need existing quorums, they just need a majority for any state board. Any of the heating plants could be sold without solicitation, or any contracts could be made to operate such plants, heating, cooling, and power plants owned by the state, for whatever price they wanted. Let's see here. Medical assistance would be nearly eliminated. It would be very hard to get on after that. Let's see here. Pharmacies would get paid. Pharmacies would get paid to save the state money. However, the payments are already expected to be more than the savings. They wouldn't allow contraceptives for people on medical assistance. They would cut employee positions in the Departments of Children and Families, Corrections, and Natural Resources. And last but not least, we'd take out a $474 million loan to cover $309 million in debt. Now, none of this makes any sense, and a lot of people don't know about these portions of the bill. Now, we will soon be releasing this in a text document file for everyone to share. However, until then, please share these two videos. And if you really like the content in this, we could always use a little more help with our advertising campaigns and our field offices across the state. So please feel free to send a donation at www.defendingwisconsin.org. Once again, my name is Jeremy Ryan, Executive